Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ocarina of Time, Minimalist Run, and we just got the hook shot from Dampe, the Gravekeeper, and of course we got Epona as well in the last episode, which, although she's really not needed for a Minimalist Run, we got her anyway, just because it will speed up this playthrough just a little bit, since I don't want to cut out too much, other than maybe the in-between takes on deaths and stuff like that, and you'll see what I mean later on, when I die more often in these later dungeons. I don't think I have a single death yet, actually. Not a single death so far, and I'm already an adult. Oh yes, and if you stop Epona from a dead sprint or something, she will always rear back and throw off all sense of timing and everything. It's crazy. I remember when I first played this that I got so good at riding Epona that I could immediately come to a dead stop or slow down exactly where I needed to and get off Epona without her getting freaked out that I stopped suddenly. But I just can't seem to do that anymore. And that is one big Deku Baba. So obviously, enemies in Kokiri Forest, something is definitely wrong. If you were to go to any of the houses and everything, you would see some of the Kokiri cowering and everything and telling you that things are not the same in the forest as they once were, now that the Deku Tree has been killed off earlier in the game. So over time, enemies started appearing in the forest because of the Deku Tree's influence disappearing as well. Did I say appearing? Yeah. It made sense in my head before it came out of my mouth. So obviously we go to the one place that makes sense where Soraya might be. And that, of course, is the Lost Woods. I mean, the temple isn't the Deku Tree, so there's only one other place in the woods that you could go to. And that's, of course, through the Lost Woods. And, amazingly, he is here. He's braver than the other Kokiri. I think, what's his name? Fado? He is one of the bravest Kokiri here because he is out here in the Lost Woods protecting Soraya, as it were, by blocking off the one place he last saw her go. And we have to remind him that we are a friend, and only friends know this melody that Soraya teaches all her friends. And that's another thing that I thought was funny. When you're older and you talk to people you've met as a young child, they all think you look familiar, but they can never recognize you. Not after 7 years, they can never recognize you. It's like the clothes alone don't give it away. They just don't flat out recognize you. That is some supernatural Clark Kent stuff right there. Oh, this part. Oh gosh. I had such a hard time trying to get through this area. I had no idea how to face these guys. These are the 3 incarnations, the first of their kind, mind you, of Moblins. And they are some of the worst enemies in the game, mainly because you can't really face them head on. They will destroy you and throw you into the water pits or what have you. Yeah, look at that. Oh gosh! That gets me first off. As soon as I round the bend. Yeah. And if you even think that you're gonna try and make it past them, if you're within their range of sight, you're wrong, because they'll detect you and push you back off into the water. So what you want to do is you want to get up behind them as they're walking away and shoot them with your hook shot, since you don't have arrows at this point. Yeah, that shooting him from the front is not very helpful at all. They're armored or something, like they'll somehow always block your hits with that spear of theirs. So they're invulnerable from the front, quite like a Dark Nut. And if you get too close, even when they're facing away from you, they'll detect you, and they can turn pretty darn fast. Now, there's no Moblins in all the passages. They're only in parallel passages, so you'll never find them perpendicular to the ones you find the others in. So, using the side camera view, as you sidestep left and right is probably the best way to get a grip on where these guys are. So this area has turned very dangerous of late. You also make that funny little weird farting sound when they die? I don't know. Wait for him to pass so I can hit his butt. Destroy him by hitting him his butt. And of course, I took a risk here, and I figured I could probably make it past this guy before he notices me. And then you get to a special moblin. The boss moblin? Basically, it's just going back and forth, dodging his hits, and then he really doesn't turn around. For whatever reason, once you get behind him, that's it. You've already won the battle. I guess he's too big to turn around in the small space provided. But whatever, that's the last of the challenges to get to the Forest Temple. And of course, Link reminisces about Soraya here, and the time they shared just singing and following along with her song. So he looks at the stump. Aww. Oh! Well, looky here, there's Sheik! How convenient, meeting us here out in all places. Sure seems different for us, don't it? At first, I thought these songs were a little more important than they are. I mean, they're nice. They're actually some of the best melodies in the game, mind you. But for all intents and purposes, it's just basically a quick warping device. Similar in nature to how the whistle was in the original Legend of Zelda, where it would take you to the entrance of each dungeon. That's what these songs do. These songs take you to the entrance of each major dungeon as an adult. And that is to be the first of many disappearing acts of Sheik. Now, it also took me a while to figure out, what do I do? Do I climb the tree? What do I do? But no, you actually use the hook shot you got from Kokiri Village to latch onto the branch hanging over the broken staircase there. And that's how you get into the Forest Temple proper. Now, in classic Legend of Zelda fashion, starting, I think, pretty much in Link to the Past, the adult timeline dungeons are a far cry from the original child dungeons. There's a lot more complex puzzles, there's more floors, more difficulty navigating all the various rooms and elements, and of course more tougher enemies and new enemies too that you have to deal with. The Deku Nut is helpful when they go in for the kill, and that'll stun them right away. The Deku Nut is actually kind of useful for a lot of situations. If you manage to go for the upgrades that allow you to hold up to 50 Deku Nuts, you can just use those with impunity and stun pretty much almost every enemy in the game. Almost every enemy. Man, when I was younger, this part gave me so much trouble. Yeah, kind of like that. I think I tried that jump, even just trying to make it out to the edge of the branch to trying to angle myself up for the jump. I fell probably maybe 5 or 6 times, and then the jump itself, I probably failed another 5 or 6 times. It got really frustrating just to get to this one stupid chest. And it sucks too, because you kind of need this chest. I just about fell off again. It was just me as a young child acclimating to the whole navigating in 3D rather than 2D games like I was used to in the past. Made a lot of mistakes in the spatial realm. And here, the Skulltula is placed so perfectly that you can't even get around them. Not even if you stun them with the Deku Nut. So you literally have to wait for them to turn around so you can kill them. So there's going to be a lot of instances, I believe, in the Forest Temple where you're going to have to wait for the Skulltulas to actually open up their vulnerable point for you to actually get past. Ah, yes. The Poe Sisters. For such a short time in the game, a lot of the fandom have really taken to these Poe Sisters. And have really given them personalities. There's a lot of fan art, you know, for them and all sorts of crazy things. A lot of people really like the Poe Sisters, even though they're not giving too much personality. Now, I made a mistake here, and that was actually going this way first. I don't realize it, unfortunately, till later. And unfortunately, you guys are going to have to kind of roll with me during my mistakes. You're going to have to endure some of the repetition. Oh yeah, and these are the new bubbles. 3D bubbles. The ones that took away your weapons and items or whatever in the original Legend of Zelda if they touched you. Yeah, this is the 3D incarnation of those. I don't think they have the same effect. I think they were given that effect later on in Majora's Mask. But yeah, I need to have actually gone out to the outer courtyards just further north from the main entrance to get a couple more keys. Because as it stands now, it's like I'm pointlessly going through this room when I don't have the keys to actually finish getting through this area. Which is unfortunate. So you're going to have to kind of bear with some of the repetition here as I come back to this room probably several times. As I said, I haven't played this game in a long, long time. And as a result, I've forgotten quite a bit. The Forest Temple especially. I'd almost want to say, outside of the Water Temple, the Forest Temple is probably one of the more complex levels of the game. Yep, this was me being lost. Not really sure what to do. I was like, what do I do? I think the blocks stay, though. I think once I solved the issue of the blocks, those didn't reset themselves when I came back to this room several times later. Yep, and that is something you can't activate with the hook shot. You're going to need something similar in nature to the slingshot, but a little more pointier. You know, these types of rooms, where it's all kind of just interlocking, boxy, square-like hallways, I don't think would fly anymore in modern-day Legend of Zelda dungeons. I think they've gotten a lot more clever in terms of their block puzzles and overlapping room mechanics and design, you know, since this game. But back in those days when this got first released, this was a pretty complex room, even if it was made of square, rectangular hallways. Nothing but blocks. And actually kind of featureless, too. There isn't really anything standing out in this room. And it was about here I realized, oh, well, crap. I don't have a key. Nor do I have an arrow, bow and arrow to shoot that ice switch up there. So it's at this point that I realized I'm kind of SOL. I have come here a little bit too early. You know, I'm surprised that doesn't hurt Link. Falling far and smacking nose straight into the wall. So obviously this looks mighty suspicious, so this would be the first place you'd probably want to go to. For no other reason that it's blocked off. These Deku Babas are super huge. And extremely hard to hit. I think they're just kind of enlarged. Like, just scaled upwards without actually modifying any of their hitboxes. So it's very awkward to actually hit them. As I said before, I was completely lost here. I did not know what to do. I did not know where to go. And so I'm not really sure where I quit and stopped the video recording, but I think it was pretty close to around this point where I'm just like, you know, I'm going to admit defeat. I don't know what to do here. And I think, because obviously that was clearly not the way to go. So who here, here's a question to you all, who here got lost their first time, kind of like what I'm doing right now, and had no idea where to go, what to do in the Forest Temple? Like the first time, without guides, without looking online, they were literally just wandering and meandering around the Forest Temple, figuring out, alright, I'm lost, I'm clueless, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do. I mean, it's okay to admit it, I'm pretty sure we were all there at some point or another in any Zelda game. For me, right now, it was this particular dungeon, and it was exactly that way when I was younger, too. So we'll solve this in the next video. See y'all then.